How you doing, YouTube? It's Archimedes again. Sitting old Sally here today. Started out this day, was actually supposed to go to work at 6 o'clock, 6:30, and then that got changed to about 7. So 7 we showed up, and pilot said we're probably going to have an extremely short day. He took a look at the weather again and decided, nope, ain't going to happen. So we all went home. So we was there 5 minutes. Everybody decided to go home. Okay. So I went off town and got some more parts for the house, things like that. Ate me some lunch and came on back. And I past couple days, this is the first day I've had off in quite a while. And past couple days, I've been doing a lot of thinking, really a lot. I watched a movie that really, it's one of my favorites. It always has been since the day I first watched it, and I'm not really sure why. The movie is Cinderella Man, and what got me on that movie is the fact that he gets a second chance, and he comes back and he makes a legend of himself. Kind of that he was a legend prior to that, but I mean the fact that he comes back and wins a world title, that itself is legendary. So I've been doing a lot of thinking, and people have asked me in the past, whether it be girlfriends or friends or whatnot, and I guess at the time that I've been asked this question is most often than not, I always take an assumption that someone's talking about the way that they have wronged me. Whether they've lied to me, cheated on me, stolen from me, all the above. So usually when I'm asked this, my answer relies solely on what I've had to go through, the suffering that I've had to go through with these other persons or partners or friends or whatnot. And the question is, do you believe in second chances? And used to, my answer was straight up no. Straight up, 100%. Absolutely fucking not. No. You want to cheat me? You want to steal from me? You want to fucking lie to me? That's on you. That's solely on you. You consciously knew that you were doing that at the time that you were doing it. Whether for a good reason or a bad reason, you fucking knew you were doing that. So no, I absolutely do not believe in second chances. All the meanwhile, I've never lied to anybody. Now, I'm not going to bullshit you. I've told a couple white lies here and there. Yeah, I slept in a little bit. My alarm didn't go off. Fuck no. I slept through that bitch. Intentionally. Well, why didn't you do this? Fuck, I wasn't thinking about that. I thought about it. And my thought was, if I did this, it's going to take me an extra hour and a half, as versus just saying fuck it and going home or doing this. I can cut an hour and a half out of my day because I'm fucking tired. But it was at those points in times that I knew I can guarantee I wasn't going to get fired. I mean, obviously, I'm still doing the same shit and have been for 8 years now, so I knew I wasn't going to get fired. And with the skills that I have, I can guarantee even right now, I'm not going to get fired. So yeah, you bet your ass I'll fucking tell a white lie. No, this guy didn't do that. Hell yeah, he fucked up. He fucking did this, and I called him a dumbass for it, or I called them a dumbass, or I called them out on it. I knew the real fucking story, and it really wasn't maybe my business to say anything, so I told a little white lie. And that never fucking hurt anybody. And I've always, answered no to a second chance. And here I sit today, and in 10 days, it'll be 8 months sobriety for me. And I'm not proud of it. I am, but I'm not. I'm not proud of the fact that I actually had to come to a point where it was either lose everything, and I mean everything, from this old pickup to everything that I have in my garage, anything you see in the past videos, all that shit would be wiped clean, all gone. This pickup gone. My other pickup indefinitely gone. My house, my savings accounts, my checking, my job, my potentially good future. All of it gone. I knew it was either give all this up or fucking stop. And by doing so, when I wanted this, I knew I was going to have to give something up. I knew I was going to have to give something up. And my sacrifice was one of my favorite pickups, one of my pride and joys. I bought that pickup. I was a second owner of it. I took very, very good care of that pickup. And I knew to get out of my drinking, I was going to have to give that up. Had to. Now, I got paid for it for sure. But I don't believe I'll ever have a vehicle like that ever again. And even if I do, something that may be in better shape or condition or even less miles or newer, I'll never have the energy to take care of a pickup like I took care of my other one. So I knew for a fact I was going to have to give that up. But I also realized at that point in time, when I decided that, and I continued to drink, knowing that at some point I was going to have to give that up, that I was going to be asking for a second chance. I knew it. And with that alone, it kind of put me in a depression. So for about 3 months, I kind of sat and spoiled on my loss. I was pretty butthurt. I can't give you the words to express the feelings that I had over the loss that I went through with that. But I can tell you the reward that I have for quitting, or at least stopping, even if it's only, let's say by next month, coming up on the 9th month period of me being sober, let's say I start drinking again. Maybe not as heavy, maybe a drink here, a drink there, maybe one every couple months or something. I would assume I could settle for that. I would have to assume that I'd be able to settle for that. And maybe I won't. Maybe I will. At this point, I really don't know. But I can tell you that I don't see me going down that road again. I've been down that road. I know what it tastes like. I know what it looks like. And I don't want to give all this stuff up. Not for that anymore. Never again. Never a fucking again. So, I hate to say it, or admit it, but yes, I consciously knew that I was asking for a second chance. And when the night came and I saw the 11:11, I fucking knew it's time. And I doubt she remembers, but one of the girls or women that I had an interest in on that night, I even explained to her, because we were farting around playing beer pong or raging the cage, whatever we were doing, and I was explaining to her, look, it's 11:11. And she yells out, oh, make a wish. Said, nope. Wish has already been done. It's already been done. What I've asked for has already been asked. It's been put out there. This is where I receive. So, well, you got to come home tonight. You got to come home with me. No can do. I know where this road goes, and I got to follow it. Got to. There's no other way for me. And I couldn't have asked for a better spot. I could not have asked for a better location. I had a real good friend sitting by, and we talked about it. I was an idiot. I should have never done. After drinking, I should have never fucking gone and drove. I knew it. I'd done it many, 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 many times. In fact, I counted up to the point where I probably drove more drunk or inebriated, or at least under the influence, than I ever have sober. And that's a fact. I mean, there's probably more times that I can count, more miles that I've put on a set of wheels drunk than I ever have sober. Ever. Even throughout the years of high school that I never drank or didn't drink or hardly ever drank. And it never fazed me. Back then, 8 months ago, I didn't give a shit. Fuck, I'm out of beer. Let me run down here. I'll grab a couple more. So I knew I was asking for a second chance. And I'm not going to deny it. I put that out there. I asked for it. And I knew that, to get that, I'd probably have to sacrifice something. I knew I was going to sacrifice something. I hate to admit it. And I hate to explain this honestly, because I'm not proud of my decision, but it was a decision that I knew it meant either everything that I have or that one item. And I'm most proud of that one item. And I am most proud of everything that I have, aside from that one item. But I have a lot of family heirloom shit too. And my grandfather asked me to watch over this stuff because, and I'm not sure why he got the idea or where he got the idea, but he said, you're the only one that's responsible enough to hold on to these items. And at the time, I never really meant what he said. I didn't understand what he meant by that. So for the longest time, I just kind of kept the shit in confusion. Like, I don't know, dude wants me to hang on this stuff. It's whatever. And a couple months ago, I did some digging through some of that stuff, and there's a lot of heritage in there that I have. And I didn't realize that. So, yeah, I would say I'm probably the only one in my family that's responsible enough to hang on to these items without fucking them up. And I say letters from back in the 1800s, like 1860s, that were written back and forth between family members across the country. And they're dated. I mean, they're dated, they're written, you can tell. I mean, the paper's older. I think that they were written in ink, but I'm not really sure. I really need to take them down and have them appraised or evaluated, whatever, looked over. Nonetheless, aside from all that, I wanted my old pickup to run again. I lost it as well due to drinking. And, or at least the motor that I had in it. And I was most proud of that motor. And I had to give that up to continue drinking. On this go round, and I say this go round because I'm on a second chance here, I'm going to try a different route. Obviously, sober seems to be doing not too bad. These days, I want to drink. I really do. I'm not going to deny that. I want to drink a lot. At least one night, just get me fucked up. Just to remind me what the fuck I'm not missing. Because I don't miss being hungover. I don't miss drinking. I don't miss the embarrassment of going to the fucking store, getting more fucking beer, sitting out in the garage or in front of the TV and fucking smoking my cigars or puffing on my cigars and drinking my beer, sitting in fucking sorrow. I don't miss all that. I'm still fucking depressed today, but that's part of the ADHD shit that I'm learning about. And that's going to be a whole fucking other fight. So, in the past, I always wanted to make a hot rod out of Sally. And for some reason, in the back of my head, I had it set that I needed to keep every single factory part that I possibly could off of this old pickup. Now, there were some things that I didn't keep because they were all busted up to begin with. Like some of the front grill and some of the bezel around the grill and some of the other parts and pieces, which most people don't know that much about these old pickups. So if they don't see it on there, they're not going to assume that that's no longer factory. They're just going to assume the way they see it as close to factory as you're ever going to get. They don't know about all the fucking vacuum lines and all this and the big old ball for the cruise control and how all that shit functions. A lot of us are dying breed that know anything about these pickups. We're a dying breed. There's a lot of people that favor this body style or whatnot, but not a whole lot of people know the histories about them, how they work, and the amount of directions that you can go to make these pickups look good. I don't think I've ever seen one that just looked like shit. Even if they turn them into lowriders, they actually still look really freaking good. So, what I'm going to do, or what I'm thinking I might do, or a direction I'd like to go is, now that our season's almost over, I'm not sure yet what I'm going to get paid next season, but I'd almost be able to tell you I'm not going to be there to see it, because I'm not going to be there. I haven't told them yet, but there's a direction that I want to go, and that includes 18 wheels in an open road. I feel like I'd be able to support my living and make more than what I can make at some kind of job with physical labor and never have a chance to move up. I've been here 8 years doing what I do now, and there's no chance for me to go any higher. I'm still one of the most valued bottom people on the totem pole. And that'll never change unless I leave. So after this season, I actually anticipate a really big bonus. I really do. Just because the guy that owns it now is way more giving. As long as you do him right, he'll do you right type of person. So this year I'm anticipating a very large bonus. And depending on what that bonus is, and looking at my current situation, it would save me a few dollars here. It would spend me a lot of dollars there. But it's something that I've always wanted to do. Drag racing as a hobby. Now, it's going to cost a lot of money, and I probably won't get to go every weekend or whatnot, but to have that hobby in front of me would just be badass. And I've looked at funny cars. I've looked at roadsters. I've seen, just your generic average vehicles. I could turn this into a dragster. If I had $4,000 right now, I could put just a few bucks under that hood, and I'd have a few more dollars to spend. But also, if I got $4,000, I'd be able to go buy myself a roller, and I've already got a motor sitting right over there that I can use, and I've got a set of heads that I could trade. It's not going to work on that motor, but I took a look at them. They're some big bitches. And I've got an intake and a carb. I got all kinds of shit to make this work, both directions. So I can take and all I just need to buy a few more parts, put the motor, the motor that I have here in Sally, and be able to get this bitch going. And be able to putt around town. And I've always wanted to be able to keep my factory parts so that I could do that. And that's another reason I've never really wanted to chop and weld on this fucking pickup. I want to be able to cruise it on a Sunday. Or a Saturday or a fucking weekday or whatever it may be. Basically your weekend cruiser. And I'd like to continue to be able to do that with this pickup. It's always brought me joy driving it, whether it's the slowest thing on the block or if it's the fastest fucking thing at night. And it's been both. I promise you that. So, what I'm thinking is I'm going to start looking for a roller dragster. I have seen them as low as about $6,000 or $4,000 in some scenarios, depending on how old the framework is and things like that. And to keep them certified, there's a few things I think you have to modify. I don't know all the rules and regulations yet, but that's something that I can learn pretty quick, I believe. And with that, I already have a motor and transmission in Sally here. A few more parts and this thing will be able to fire off on her own. I've got an extra battery. I got a starter dropped off the other day somebody gave me. I've got a lot of parts. The only thing I'm lacking is maybe some oil and intake. I've got a carburetor here for it. I got plenty of parts to make this thing work. So if I bought the roller and I got this motor here and I found a power glide for it, and I took those heads and I swapped them for something that'll work, I think this is a route. I just measured the garage. I got 24 feet I can work with. I don't know how long a dragster is on average, but I'm thinking I'm going to make this work. And so, with that being said, I know what I'm on right now is a second chance at everything. With my job, and they, I don't know, those guys say they notice a difference. I notice a difference too. And the difference I notice is I'm still the one doing all the fucking work. I'm doing all the fucking legwork. Training the new guys, teaching about this, teaching about that, knowing what to do in this scenario, knowing what to do in that scenario. And I hate it. I don't know how to explain it. And I know many times before the pilot said I'm the fastest around. He don't think that there's anybody that can beat me. There's some kids can come close, but they with the knowledge that I have and knowing what to do and when to do it, or even if something happens, what action to take and which route to go with that, they'll never be able to compare to. I would say that alone is a legend in itself. That's something somebody's built within just a short amount of time, being that usually this only lasts a couple months. So, and then turning around on top of that and being able to drive a truck all winter and chase down harvest, that's pretty damn hard. It's exhausting beyond belief. So, I know I'm on a second chance. With Sally, with racing, with my home, with all my stuff here in the garage, with my rig works, And everything that's important to me, I'm on a second chance. So, if somebody asks me, do you believe in second chances? I can't say no. I cannot say no. I have to say yes. Because I'm on a second chance myself. And some of those people that have ever asked, that have asked me in the past, do you believe in second chance? I haven't seen or heard from in a long fucking time. I want to say couple years, whatever. And there's some things I miss about those people, sure, but I highly doubt. In fact, I can guarantee I'll probably never ever see them again. So, with this second chance, looking back now, I figure I've already made a legend of myself in a couple different places for the things that I am capable of doing. And I can always go further, too. I can get faster. I've always held back at everything that I do. I always hold back just a little bit because you never know when you're going to need it. Come to find out, I've never fucking needed it. So, on this go round, I would say, if anything, I know what I'm fighting for. Because I don't think that motherfuckers get third chances. I don't think those are handed out. People give them away all the time. Yeah, come on back. Fucking marriages or whatever. Fucking people are crazy. Give me a third chance. Give me a fifth chance, a sixth chance. Come on, I promise this time. It's gonna work out. I guarantee. I know it's gonna work out, and then it doesn't. So you can give chances away all you want, but you may not actually receive them in life, in this world, because time's only ticking. We're only getting older. So I know, like I said, I know what I'm fighting for. And I'm fighting to keep my second chance because I can't get a third one. I don't believe that I'd ever get a third one. So with that, I'm going to continue to admire this old pickup every time I walk past it. I'm going to keep pushing forward on my dreams with my rig works, with my new profession, and it's a profession that I want to own. I've always wanted to own a couple businesses or a handful of businesses or whatnot. So I'm still going to go for that. I'm still going to continue to put a couple dollars in my house here and there. And I'm going to do everything I can to get into racing as a hobby. Because I kind of already know how to do that. And I know at least a couple more people that are interested in it too. And I don't see why not. It's not cheaper than drinking, I promise you that, but it's way more rewarding. I have learned that. And working on my house too it's one of the things that I find most rewarding. I feel like I'm doing a really good job on my home. A little bit here, a little bit there. It sucks doing it a little bit. But kind of like pennies. You throw one here, throw one there. Eventually it adds up. And it'll add up really quick. And it could add up really fast. So I guess what I'm saying is when you think you haven't been given a second chance, stop and take a look around. I know I'm on mine. And I'm going to do everything I can to make it worthwhile this go round. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make it worthwhile. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next time.